guys, and we're going to start. So if you want to just give it a few seconds, Dr. Bruce.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Fall 2020 faculty meeting. We once again find ourselves meeting virtually via Zoom for our university-wide faculty meeting. I hope that you saw the webpage that's dedicated to this faculty meeting with the agenda and the lineup of speakers and presenters and any kind of documents that you can refer to during the meeting. I'm going to start off with some general comments and then pass the baton on to the next speaker. So today we'll hear a lot, I'm sure, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot through the fall semester about COVID-19. But I want to take a few moments to take time to focus on some of our successes and some of the non-COVID related activities that we have on campus. While that topic is critically important, I think it's just as important for us to maintain our focus on our core mission, and that's educating students. And that's providing students with access to quality educational opportunities, driving our students toward excellence, and then providing our students with the infrastructure and the resources they need to succeed. But I also don't want us to forget to just celebrate our successes. So we have a lot of new faculty and administrators on campus. We also, unfortunately, have a few retirements. And so I want to kind of highlight those first. For the retirements, just over the last few months, we've had 5 faculty retire. We had Dr. Pat Bagley, who is a professor in the School of Ag, retire. Dr. Graham Campbell, who's a professor in the School of Art, Craft, and Design, retire. Dr. Charles Kernall, who is a professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, retire. Professor Jenny Mayfitt, who is an instructor in the School of Nursing, retire. And Dr. James Stewart, who is a professor in the Department of Communications, retire. These 5 people had a combined years of service of 134 years. So that's a that's a lot of corporate memory and expertise that we're unfortunately losing. We wish them well. I'm sure they're enjoying their retirement, but you know, we really hate to lose anybody in a retirement, but certainly understandable after 134 years of service. The next thing I want to just highlight is new administrators and people who are taking on new administrative roles in academic affairs this year. And I'm going to have to use my glasses to look at this. Dr. Alan Mills, he will be serving as the Associate Dean for the College of Arts and Sciences. He was previously the chairperson in math. Dr. Michael Allen, who will be serving as the chairperson in the Department of Mathematics. Dr. Colin Hill, who will be now serving as the director of the School of Music. He was previously the associate professor of music. We also have Dr. Barbara Jarrett, who is now the director of the School of Nursing. Dr. Holly Stretz, who is serving as the chairperson for chemical engineering. And Professor Kim Winkle, who's now serving not only as the director of the School of Art, Craft, and Design, but also as the director of the Appalachian Center for Craft. And we also have Dr. Helen Hunt, who is now serving as the director of the university's Women's Center. Dr. Hunt comes from the English department. I also want to announce 2 additional administrative roles that individuals will be taking on. And I want to thank the faculty of the strategic plan working groups. You might recall that about a year ago, recommendations came out of those strategic plan working groups to, 1, establish some type of administrative role dedicated to online and distance learning, and to have some kind of administrative role dedicated to advancing faculty excellence, and to stand up a center called the Center for Advancing Faculty Excellence. the acronym nicely makes the word cafe. So there was these recommendations that came out. I formed 2 committees last year. One was chaired by Doug Bates, and that was the committee for establishing the cafe. And one committee was chaired by Dr. Mark Stevens, and that was the Online Education Advisory Committee. And those 2 committees together worked through a plan to not create 2 new administrative roles, but to merge those together into 1 new administrative role, not only for financial savings, but just for efficacy. And so I'm very, very pleased to announce that Dr. Bedelia Russell, who's a faculty member in the School of Nursing, has agreed to serve as the interim Associate Provost for Online Education and Faculty Excellence. And many of you know her not only as a professor of the School of Nursing, but also as the director of the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. So that created a vacancy there, and I'm very pleased to announce that Dr. Jason Beach, a faculty member in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, has agreed to backfill that role and serve as the director for CITL. And then one non-faculty administrative appointment in academic affairs is Dr. Catherine Friedrich. She is the new director for institutional assessment, research, and effectiveness. And she comes to us from the University, Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. And she has already hit the ground running as the new director of IR. So those are some of the new administrative duties that people are taking on in academic affairs. We also have a lot of new faculty this fall in academic affairs. We have 51 new tenure track faculty as well as instructors and lecturers. And of those 51, 22 are tenure track faculty and 29 are instructors and lecturers. And I encourage you, I would love to read every name, but it would take forever. I encourage you to go to the website, look at who the new faculty are, reach out to them, and really welcome them to campus. Some come from our own campus. They come from Tennessee Tech. Some come from UT Knoxville, UT Martin, Lipscomb, MTSU. But many of these faculty come from all over the nation and the world. We have faculty coming to us from Purdue, Johns Hopkins University, Ohio State, University of California, University of Alabama, Penn State, University of Texas, Oklahoma State, Qatar University. So we have a lot of new faces on campus, a lot of new faculty, and I'm sure they would appreciate a network of friends and colleagues that they could turn to for support during their first year here on campus. So please reach out to them. So while we're talking about faculty, I'm also very pleased to announce some of the promotions that faculty were awarded this year. We had 15 faculty members who were awarded some type of promotion this year. Those promotions begin this month. We have 1 person who was promoted from instructor to senior instructor, 7 from lecturer to senior lecturer, 5 from assistant professor to associate professor, and 1 faculty member from associate professor to full professor. So with these new promotions, the distribution of our ranks of faculty are that about 13% of all of our faculty this fall are instructors or senior instructors. About 14% are lecturers or senior lecturers. 19% are assistant professors. 26% are associate professors, and 28% are full professors. And I'm also very excited to announce that we had 8 faculty members that were awarded tenure for beginning in August 2020. President Odom took these 8 faculty forward to the Board of Trustees. They ratified the tenure, and I am going to actually read their names because I think it's such a big deal when you're awarded tenure. We have Edward Driggers in history, Brian Leckie in the School of Agriculture, Emily Lee in nursing, Daniel Randall in art, craft, and design, Ethan Languri in mechanical engineering, Holly Mills in the Volpe Library, Roy Roberts in mechanical engineering, and Zhuangji Zhan in chemistry. So that's very, very exciting. One other activity that's been going on, I know our spring and summer terms were obviously interrupted by COVID-19, but our faculty have not slowed down in our efforts to develop new and exciting academic programs for our students. In the spring semester, faculty at Tennessee Tech worked to establish 2 new degree programs, 1 new major, 15 new minors, 14 new concentrations, 3 new standalone certificates, and 2 new fast track options. Obviously, I can't highlight all of those, but I do want to just mention the 2 new degree programs. The Department of Economics, Finance, and Marketing gained THEC approval to establish a new degree program, a BS degree in economics. We already had a BSBA in economics, but a Bachelor of Science in Economics is that new degree program. By changing that degree program, it will now be recognized nationally as a STEM program. And with the official designation of a STEM program, the department felt like they would be better able to recruit students and then graduate students with a nationally competitive degree. They pointed out to me, this is a trend, that several other institutions have made the same change in the last year. And some of those institutions are the University of Chicago, Yale, Penn State, Northwestern, Cornell, Duke, and Texas A&M, just to name a few. So joining a list of very prestigious institutions to really convert our economics degree to a very STEM-focused economics degree program. I want to commend the economics faculty and especially their chair, Dr. Wesley Pesch. As many of you might know, he just joined us a year ago and obviously making a big impact on that department. The other new degree program we have on campus is in the Department of Human Ecology, and that is a Master of Science degree in Community Health and Nutrition. So a number of faculty have worked on that new program. It is the first graduate program for their college, for the College of Agriculture and Human Ecology. So that's very exciting for them. But a number of faculty have worked very hard on proposing and setting up this new program, but they've really been led by 2 individuals I really want to publicly acknowledge, and that's Dr. Melinda Anderson and Dr. Samantha Hudson. There's so many positive aspects of that program that I can highlight, but I'm only going to highlight one for the sake of time, and that is the fact that this master's program has an emphasis on rural community health, which aligns very nicely with our University Grand Challenge of Rural Reimagined. And so this program will truly help address a gap in the state healthcare delivery system and provide students with the knowledge they need to give back in service to many rural Tennesseans. So finally, I just want to turn just for a few moments to the topic of COVID-19. Over the summer of 2020, we established in academic affairs several task forces to address a variety of issues related to the fall 2020 semester and the potential impact that COVID-19 is obviously going to have. These task forces were made up of 70 faculty members, staff, and students. They met numerous times. They worked diligently to make recommendations on a variety of topics. There was a task force dedicated to hybrid education, and that was chaired by Dr. Bedelia Russell. A task force on large classroom utilization and how could we effectively socially distance in the classroom. That was chaired by Dr. Mark Stevens. A task force on policies and procedures and what might we need to change in the era of COVID. That was chaired by Dr. Christy Kielman. A task force on pedestrian flow and how do we ensure social distancing as people are entering in and out of the classroom and just other logistical matters. That was chaired by Dr. Jerry Ganad. And a task force on student success, and that was chaired by Dr. Ed Lissick. I just want to say the university owes these task force members and their chairs a debt of gratitude for their hard work, their thoughtfulness, their creativity, and most of all, their dedication to the students and our academic programs. So on the web page for this faculty meeting, you'll find links to several documents and other websites that hopefully you'll find useful. For example, you'll find a document containing a high-level summary of the task force recommendations. These were distributed to the deans and chairs on July 2nd. Chairs and directors were asked to share this with faculty to solicit feedback. And so if there's, for some reason, you've not seen this document, it is available to you there on the web page for this faculty meeting. One of the things that came out of those task forces was a delineation of how we deliver courses this fall and kind of coming up with 4 categories of course delivery for this fall. 100% online, something called Tech Direct, which is predominantly online, but has some on-campus components. Tech Flex, which is a highly flexible mix of online and in-person, and Tech Enhanced, which is a predominantly in-person delivery, maybe some online components. The academic departments in general have done an absolutely outstanding job designing their course schedules to ensure that we have a good mix of all these delivery modalities. You know, we've heard from students that really, really desire to be in person, and we've heard from students who really want to be online. And so the best thing we could do was to ensure that we were providing a good mix, a highly diverse mix of options for these students. So as of yesterday, I pulled all the data from Banner and looked. Approximately 1/4 of all of our undergraduate courses are either 100% online or predominantly online. About 1/3 are in that middle category of Tech Flex, and about 40% are either fully in person or predominantly in person. So I'm very proud that the departments achieved that mixture of courses. Also on the webpage for this faculty meeting, you'll find a link to a training session that we held with chairs, directors, and deans. And this training covers a variety of scenarios that, unfortunately, faculty members will likely encounter this fall. For example, students who are not complying with face covering policies and procedures, or students who are absent from class because of COVID-related issues. I really, really encourage you to watch that video. I'll acknowledge it's about an hour long, so it's a little lengthy, but it's very informative. So the last thing I want to just say is that even with all this extensive planning, you know, there's going to be things that happen this fall that just don't go perfectly. And I really want to encourage you to extend a great deal of grace to yourself, to your colleagues, and most importantly, to our students. I want to thank you for all you've done during the spring, over the summer, and I know that you're going to do this fall. And I just want to thank you for always, always putting students first. Hope you have a great semester. So I want to hand this off now. I think next on the agenda is, I'm going to pull it up, is Dr. Mark Stevens, who's going to give us a quick update on graduate studies.
Well, good morning. On behalf of the College of Graduate Studies, I'd like to welcome our new faculty and welcome back all of our returning faculty. This has been an exceedingly busy summer for the staff in the college. We have experienced a tremendous surge in graduate applications for fall 2020. So far, our office has processed 1,712 applications, which is a 61% increase over fall 2019 applications. Currently, 752 applicants have been admitted for fall, which represents an 83% increase over fall 2019. We will continue to process applications as we receive them. And currently, there are approximately 75 applications that are out for review by program coordinators. All programs have seen a spike in applications. However, of particular significance is the increase in our doctoral programs. So far, we have admitted 66 new doctoral students for fall. This surge in applications bodes well for our fall graduate enrollment. Currently, our graduate student enrollment is up 226 in headcount or a 21.6% increase over last fall. SCH is up 1,488 for a 23% increase over last fall. And FTE enrollment is up 124 over last fall, a 23.1% increase. Now, since graduate students tend to register somewhat later than undergrads, we do anticipate that our enrollment will continue to increase over the next few days. Overall, our graduate enrollment is very healthy, and I want to thank our staff and all of the graduate faculty that have worked diligently over the past few months in processing and reviewing this exceptionally large number of applications. I do have one final information item to pass along this morning. Over the last 6 months, our staff has worked with graduate faculty coordinators and ITS to implement DegreeWorks for all graduate programs. Currently, all graduate students are now live in DegreeWorks. This should enhance the student advising process and streamline our graduate checkout process. Thank you, and now it is my pleasure to recognize our next speaker, Dr. Brandon Johnson.
Thanks, Dr. Stevens. It's a pleasure to be with everybody, and we have had, as you all are aware, an interesting recruitment cycle starting in March. We had to shift much of our efforts virtual, and the results are now coming in on this. And before I share some of the numbers, I do want to sincerely thank everybody, especially the faculty who have been patient and as we work through things, but also engaging to our prospective students and the way they've reached out and continue to support them and encourage them to attend tech and just work through any and all issues that we have. And as if you experience any from this point forward, please don't stop sending them our way. We want to work with them and support them through the semester as more things will likely come to their families and to their personal well-being. We're one of the few schools in the state, if not the country, that had on-campus orientation this summer. We welcomed around 1,700 students, freshman students, to campus and their guests. And for the most part, that went exceptionally well. Students were very satisfied, and especially for our new students, their comfort level in terms of the protocols we put into place, they gained comfort and understanding of that. And I think it was a great move by us, and I appreciate everybody's support. So as I jump into the numbers, I will first congratulate the graduate studies. The numbers there are going to be extremely helpful as we look at overall enrollment. As Dr. Stevens mentioned, graduate studies is up 226 head count. That puts us as a university in the positive compared to last year. And so we, at this point, are slightly up over our previous year, last fall's enrollment. For the undergraduate enrollment, we currently have 8,705 total undergraduates enrolled. That is down 2.2%. In there, there is, even though that's down, I think that is a job well done as we have navigated the insecurity and the stress of those high school seniors and transfers. The shining light of this is our freshman class looks to be stronger than last year. And so we are up about 2% in our freshman class. Right now we have 1,773 enrolled. I would anticipate somewhere around 1,750 students once census date hits. So congratulations, everybody. We proved that we could fight through this and navigate through this and continue to engage those students. We quickly, even in March, we could tell quickly as we transitioned to virtual recruitment that transfers were going to be an extreme challenge for us. Hard to connect with our community college colleagues. And that has really proven true throughout the summer as we continue to try to identify ways to reach transfers. but it does look like our transfer enrollment will be slightly down right now, nearly 100 transfers down compared to last year. So overall, again, we are slightly up as a university. As Dr. Stevens mentioned, we are about 21% up, a little over 21% up for graduate, and undergraduate is down 2.2%. But for our circumstances and everything we've had to work through, I just thank everybody, and all of us had a piece of this, and continue to work with students and support students and encourage students. And so thank you. At this time, I will pass it to Dr. Holly Stretz, Faculty Senate President.
Hello. Am I streaming? Okay, good. Thank you for nodding your head, Brandon. I can't see. So I want to welcome everybody to the fall of 2020. I'm the current Faculty Senate President. I would also really love, if this was a normal meeting, to introduce the past president, again, Dr. Sandy Smith Andrews, who has been very helpful this summer, working very hard on your behalf, and Jeanette Wolak, who is the president-elect of the Faculty Senate. Welcome to everybody. The very first thing I want to say to faculty is what an outstanding job faculty did in the spring of 2020. You need to be commended for the work that you did over and over again. It was amazing. I hear this. I'm attending the cabinet meetings and the dean's councils. I hear this, but I don't think that the faculty here at Tennessee Tech have heard it enough, or could possibly hear it enough. It was an outstanding job. And guess what? We have a new challenge, which is the fall of 2020. Welcome to that. So I just want to say the Faculty Senate exists as another means of communication. You can work through your chairs and the deans and the provosts to communicate to the administration and to receive information from the administration, of course, the website. But we exist through shared governance as another way to represent your voice through the administration in the decisions that are being made. We've been working hard for you this summer. I probably had about 20 hours a week of meetings all summer long, and Sandy Smith Andrews has been helping me massively. So please tell her thank you. But your communication is really important. Please visit the Faculty Senate website and check out who your senators are, and talk to your senators about the things that are happening in your classes and in your work life, so that we can represent you appropriately. The first Faculty Senate meeting is September 11th this semester. And there is a suggestion box on the Faculty Senate website where you can directly impact the meetings. Your questions will be answered directly if you choose not to contact your senator. But please work through your senators. We are the voice of the faculty and the means by which shared governance gets shared. And we are very excited to represent you. Really the best faculty in the state of Tennessee and maybe the nation. And you just proved it last fall. Very, very excited and proud to represent you again this fall. You proved it last spring. Thanks. So I'll pass it to the next person on the agenda.
I believe that's me. Good morning, everyone. I also want to add my heartfelt welcome back to campus and back to back to campus into the fall semester. As some of you may know, I'm the new Vice President for Research. My name is Jennifer Taylor. I don't know how much you know about me, but just a quick background. I just recently came from the University of Arkansas, where I was the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation. My background and my doctorate is in health psychology, and I have MBA from kind of our neighbors down the street. So I'm not new to Tennessee exactly, but I am new to Cookeville. And I've had 20 years of experience in research administration. So I bring all of that forward to say, just so you know a little bit about me, because what I want to say is that I would love to take the opportunity to get to know each and every one of you. So this semester I plan on embarking on a listening tour, so where we can actually talk about the things that are working well and the things that have helped us get to where we are, which we've done great so far, and are looking forward to another good year. But also things that we can do to help you overcome some of the challenge that you may be facing in your scholarly activities, your creative activities, in your research programs as a whole. So I plan on seeing you. I know that may be a little bit challenging, but my door is always open, or shall I say my Zoom account is always open. But I do look forward to getting to know each and every one of you and having wonderful conversations. So thank you, and I look forward to talking with you. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing our president, Dr. Philip Oldham, and he'll be talking a little bit about the fall semester.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, and welcome to you, and welcome back, everyone. If I had to summarize what we've all been through, I think over the last few months, I'd just say wow, because it's been overwhelming, but the response that the campus has had to these challenges has been up to the task, and just really great job, everybody. To the faculty, not only welcome back, but I want to start out by telling you that you are the drivers of what we have accomplished so far and what we will continue to accomplish. Your performance this last spring was absolutely amazing. Being able to shift to 100% online over a 2-week period was an incredible feat, and you did a great job. And what I appreciate the most is you put students first all the time, every day, and that's the Tennessee Tech reputation, and we certainly lived up to it thanks to you. So I appreciate that. You didn't even stop when the final grades were in, and so to say welcome back to you as a group is probably misleading, because I know so many of you were around and heavily engaged throughout the last several months across the summer, dedicating yourself not only to summer teaching or service work, but working on campus to help us craft a path forward with these challenges that we're facing. So you've invested physically, and many of you literally physically, by measuring classrooms, rearranging labs, directing and the installation of plexiglass barriers in classrooms, and any number of ways that have helped physical modifications of the campus. You've invested mentally, studying and creating the best class delivery methods and for implementation. The level of work and detail from faculty has just been phenomenal. And thank you on behalf of myself and the entire administration, and certainly the Board of Trustees would echo those comments as well. But also from the students who are already here, many of them, but they're looking forward to getting back on campus and getting that great educational experience that they're used to here at Tennessee Tech. I do want to update you today on as much as possible, and clearly time is probably too limited to go into everything that could be covered or maybe even should be covered. But I do want to start out with giving you a quick budget update, and then we'll talk about preparations and operations for this fall semester. So after the last Board of Trustees meeting in June, I spent time with the provost and each of the vice presidents discussing options related to this current FY21 budget. Units impacted by the recommended budget reductions gave input. Everyone came to those conversations with a desire to keep putting students first and to stay true to our mission as a university. I am confident sitting here today that we made some very sound financial decisions when faced with the news that the state would not be contributing new funding to us this year. Remember, the state budget was passed that removed significant appropriations from higher education, and that included Tennessee Tech. Major items eliminated from funding at the state level were salary increases for the campus and also capital projects and capital maintenance. So I'm going to share a summary with you today on how the budget decisions affected our campus. First of all, on salaries. Salary, and this is important for me to point out on the front end, salary increases for faculty promotions, and congratulations to all of you that have been promoted this year. That's a great accomplishment. Those faculty promotion salary increases will be funded. That's in the budget, and so those promotion increases are fully covered. However, additional regular salary increases that we had hoped for all employees have been removed from the FY21 budget as the funding for those increases was removed from the state budget. So no employee, other than those faculty promotions already indicated, no employee at any level will receive a raise this year other than those faculty promotions. Vacant positions for the most part have been put on a freeze so that during the course of this year, those positions that are vacant and those that will become vacant will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis to determine whether it's essential to fill those positions at this time or not. So many of them, I think, will be opened up as time goes on, but we'll review those on a case-by-case basis. There have been a few positions that have been eliminated, and that was based on decisions made by individual units to choose a reduction in force, which resulted in a total of 8 positions across the campus being eliminated or consolidated. And that position totaled to about $400,000 of budgetary savings. Some other budget reductions that were taken, there were some fringe benefits reductions with cell phone stipends and tuition reimbursements for non-Tennessee Tech educational expenses. All the operating and travel budgets for the units were reduced by approximately 4%. And that allowed us to meet those budgetary goals that we had in mind. So we took a very conservative approach to budgeting this current fiscal year. And we did that by reducing this year's budget by about $4 million below last year's budget, knowing that enrollments could be significantly affected in any number of ways during this pandemic. And as has been reported, we're all excited that the enrollment news is really pretty positive at this point in time, with an overall slight increase in enrollment, which under these circumstances is pretty substantial and really driven by that graduate enrollment increase of over 20%. That's clearly we couldn't have predicted that in advance, but that's great news for us at this point in time. Additionally, in terms of finances, we've received some one-time state and federal funds that have been specific and limited to assisting with the additional costs related to COVID-19. Those funds have been very beneficial, but those do not cover regular operating costs, but they have gone a long way to covering the additional costs that we've taken in because of the response to COVID-19. So overall, we want to continue producing those positive outcomes for students that began in the spring. Student grades during the spring semester were a record high. So the students fared extremely well, and that credit goes to you as the faculty. You did a fantastic job of keeping them engaged and connected and making sure that they were well taken care of. We passed through a total of $7.7 million in fee refunds and CARES Act funds that were efficiently transferred directly into students' accounts in April and May. So any unused housing and meal cost funds that students had were pretty quickly refunded to them directly into their accounts. So despite what I would consider a very successful management of the crisis last spring, Many students told us that they want to be back on campus. They strongly prefer a traditional on-campus college experience. However, I'm sure there are others with very legitimate concerns about returning to campus, depending on their personal situation. So campus faculty and student leaders have contributed to our return plan, and an implementation committee continues to keep our plans responsive. We've all worked hard to provide options for both faculty and students for maximum, and this is really important, and the provost pointed this out, so that we would have plans that provide maximum flexibility in our course offerings this fall. So here are some key questions I have asked our leaders and the answers that we have to begin this semester. I will point out that the entire Return to Tech plan is easily found on the website. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I would encourage you to do so. So how can we maximize social distance and keep classrooms safe? An obvious question. Well, if most of you know probably by now, our classrooms look different this fall. Each room has an adjusted capacity to allow social distancing. Each classroom, lab, auditorium, high density space, public areas such as the library will have an air purifier equipped with a HEPA filter and a UV light that will constantly help disinfect the indoor air. Something you probably won't be aware of until you're told, and that's we've additionally adjusted all the HVAC systems around campus to double the amount of fresh air circulated in our buildings. So how can we move across campus, including inside buildings and through gathering spaces? Well, we've studied the safest traffic patterns within buildings and created designated exits, entrances, and staircases. Custom signage can be printed for unique needs and spaces. We're closing roads. You'll notice shortly, if not today, the intersection in front of the Volpe Library will be closed and predominantly for pedestrian traffic to allow pedestrians to avoid congestion between classes. So do we have enough supplies? This was a question that came up a lot in the spring. Supplies including hand sanitizer, temperature stations, and masks. I think the resounding answer to that is yes, we do have plenty of that. Hand sanitizer stations are in every building, and we've installed over 70 plexiglass barriers in classrooms around campus, and I think more are being done even as we speak. There's more than 20 no-touch temperature stations that have been strategically located across campus in key areas. Our safety protocols include distributing PPE and requiring face coverings for all students, faculty, and staff in indoor spaces and where social distancing is not possible. COVID-19 testing on campus has been a question. So Tech Health Services coordinates with certified contact tracers and works with our local health department. Tech will be able to test symptomatic members of our campus community or those identified through contact tracing. And we do have contact tracing available on campus for campus personnel. We can also provide surveillance testing to targeted populations on campus, such as anyone in a specific residence hall or group. Managing dining and residence hall questions. The full plans for residence halls and dining are completed and posted on the web. The bookstore, library, and other student resources have information that's accessible on the Return to Tech page as well. And I compliment all those units for doing a really good job at managing those situations. What about the emotional toll this is taking on all of us, but particularly students in this case? We know that the stress level is something of concern. So we will be offering virtual counseling sessions, emergency crisis services, and COVID-19 support groups on campus this fall through the counseling center, and we're well aware of those needs also. And importantly, how are we all going to stay informed about all this? Well, as indicated, we've established a return to tech resource page on the website that's easily accessed in one click from the homepage. Branded return to tech emails that you've been receiving feature updated information. And each Wednesday at 10, a featured update is posted and emailed to make sure you receive key messages. So please pay attention to those, and you can refer to those as a primary source to ensure that those stay updated. We use social media to enhance the messaging, and we've designated recently a current employee as a COVID-19 communication coordinator. That individual is responsible for collecting questions and information, and then subsequently facilitating responses and publicly posted information to make sure your questions are being answered. And if you have the question, chances are others have it as well. So we want to make sure that those questions get answered. So your place to start with any COVID-19 or return questions is the tentech.edu/return website. How do we meet the needs? How do we continue to meet the needs of students who need flexibility with attendance due to a variety of potential reasons? And I really appreciate the provost and all the faculty that have worked very diligently on this throughout the summer, because we know flexibility is one of those areas that is of significant concern at this time because of not knowing what we don't know, quite honestly. So high definition cameras, conference cameras are being either have been installed or are currently being installed in all classrooms. So access to lectures and class activities should be made available to students who can't attend class for any period of time throughout the semester, so they don't get behind. Faculty have been working hard to create those courses and to meet those unique student needs. And so thanks again for all of that. We believe students benefit from moving forward, completing degrees, and staying on track academically. I think we all agree with that. I have heard passionate people disagree on a variety of issues related to returning to campus. I've also met hundreds of new and returning students and their parents in the last few weeks, and they have expressed satisfaction with our campus plans and excitement about being on campus this fall. Tennessee Tech's return to campus is being created and managed by hundreds, literally hundreds of faculty and staff who contribute to put students first. We remain committed to our university mission, to our students, and to the state of Tennessee, even in the midst of the current crisis. We choose to face these challenges head on, and will continuously evaluate changing operating conditions and be prepared to adjust or pivot as needed or appropriate. I want to thank you again for everything that you have done. Before I close, however, let me give you a quick update on a couple additional areas of ongoing concern and general interest, I would imagine. Certainly over the last few months, we've been reminded of the importance concerning our campus goals regarding diversity, inclusion, and racial equity. As our long-term strategies continue to take shape in this regard, I appointed a special task force on racial equity over the summer, charging them to take an expedited look at what immediate actions are needed here, specifically at Tennessee Tech. This task force is being chaired by Dr. Robert Owens and is scheduled to report back to me by early September with specific recommendations. I look forward to sharing future actions with the campus as we continue to create a more inclusive and diverse campus environment for everyone. Finally, I'm sure most of you have heard that Tennessee Tech, along with the entire Ohio Valley Conference and most of the NCAA membership, has made the decision to postpone all fall varsity sports competitions until the spring semester. Although this was a heartbreaking decision, it was absolutely the right one and only decision based on the total set of circumstances and our primary focus on the well-being of our student athletes. We all hope to be able to return to athletic competitions in the near future, and we'll continue to monitor the situation for that purpose. So yes, these are challenging times, and nothing like any of us have ever seen or had to navigate previously. But that is what we do as faculty and what we teach our students to do. We teach them to rise to meet emerging challenges. We will continue to do our job and make any and all adjustments to keep everyone safe at the same time. Thank you again for all that you do and all that you will do this academic year. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 fall academic semester. My wish for all of us is a great wings up year, and wish we could gather around and eat lunch together today, but we'll have to postpone that for another occasion. But thank you for joining us today. Wings up to all of you, and look forward to seeing you soon on campus. Thank you. I think with that, we are adjourned.